them credit for being before this series began. The tone of the conversation leading into this series was like the Celtics were a 1 seed and the Knicks were a 16. The difference in the NCAA tournament is those teams genuinely don't belong on the same floor as the team they're playing with. Every once in a while, something ridiculous happens and they win, but it should never happen. This was not the case. The Knicks were a team that won 50 games this regular season. They're a good NBA team. They're playing a better team. The Celtics are the better team, and they still may win the series. But the Knicks have taken both of these 2 games, and I think, Monica, I get a sense that you have felt all along, and I'll give you the chance to start it, that not enough credit has been given to them in the conversation.
I do feel that way, Greeny, and particularly when you look at what's happening in clutch time, right? Jalen Brunson alone has 14 clutch points. The Celtics as a team have 12. And so there is a comfort. Yesterday going into the game, I really wondered about what clutch looked like. Now, the Celtics have played 36 clutch games. They are 24-11 in that time frame. The Knicks actually during the season played 31, but as we saw earlier today, have had 6 in the postseason. It's hard to explain, but coming into the postseason, the Knicks had more room to grow. During the regular season, they only had, I believe it was 6 games that they had their entire roster available top to bottom in terms of having, go down the line, Bridges, Robinson, Brunson, right? So you really didn't have a chance to see the promise at all, except in that last game versus Boston that went into overtime. And so for me, they've just grown and gotten better. And like Josh Hart said, they've got the most clutch player in the game and the other team doesn't. That's real.
Yeah, but they also, you have to credit the coaching staff, starting with Tom Thibodeau, has been preparing this team for this moment from day one. All he's talked about is game to game to game and getting incrementally better throughout a season, while the Knicks were going through the early growing pains, adding new players, changing up the whole roster. There were times it looked great. There were times you really worried about where it was headed, and he kept saying steady as she goes, and that locker room never changed either.
The other thing I will add, too, and I know sometimes he gets, people hear it as coach speak, but it's true, and it's been true in the postseason. The game dictates and tells you what you need to do. They are defending the Celtics differently schematically than what we saw during the regular season, and it is making a difference.
Let me get Wendy in here. Windman, how about it? There's been a lot of talk, and understandably so. The Celtics are the defending champs. They have all the big superstars. There's been a lot of talk about what they haven't done. How about what the Knicks have done?
So it's a 16-point game early in the fourth quarter. Tom Thibodeau makes a decision to take Jalen Brunson and Karl Towns out. They're 2 best offensive players. And they're running offense through Mikal Bridges, who at that point is 0 of 9. This is why the Celtics are having a difficult time getting their hands around this. That's what they want. They can defend Bridges. They want Bridges taking those shots, and then he makes 4 or 5 in a row. That is what is so unusual about this. They feel like they've done a decent job on Brunson. Brunson hasn't had multiple 40-point games. If the Knicks shot 65% on threes or Brunson had an all-time classic game and you lose, okay. What they can't understand is how the Knicks are even getting it to crunch time. And that's what I was taken aback by. I'm looking at the clock. There's 5 minutes left. All of a sudden, the Knicks tick the lead down to 5. And I'm like, these son of a guns have done it again. They've gotten it to crunch time. I don't know how they did it. So I'm just having difficulty explaining this. And I think the Celtics are too. But I would have thought it wouldn't have lasted this long. 5 straight 3-point road wins or less. I've never seen anything like it.
Go ahead, Perk.
Oh, I'll tell you how it's happening.
Come on, Perk.
Number one, Greeny, I don't know the people around who had the tone that said, like, this wasn't, this was going to be a night and day type series. I had this series going 7 before it started. Okay, that's number one.
You did.
Number two, Wendy, Tom Thibodeau, my Mbutu brother, who I won the championship, is coaching his ass off right now. That's how they win it. The coaching and the trust. When Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns go to the bench, I see the pace pick up. I'm watching Mikal Bridges and Deuce McBride. They getting out in the open floor. They getting wide open threes before the Celtics are able to get their defense set. I'm watching Tom Thibodeau say, okay, Joe Mazzulla, you want to go to a Hacker Mitchell? I'm still going to leave him out there on the floor with Karl Anthony Towns. And I'm gonna outcoach you because I'm gonna allow you to keep hacking Mitchell until we get into the bonus early in the fourth quarter, and then I'm gonna sub him out. He's out coaching him right now. And then here's another thing. A 20-point lead is not safe in today's game. I
Sure
wish
ain't.
people quit like, oh, yeah, it's not. It's nothing in today's game in 2025. It is all the credit to the Knicks. And one guy I got to give a lot of props to, Josh Hart, the Swiss Army knife. He will cut you everywhere but loose. Does every single thing that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. The cutting off the basketball, the offensive rebounds. And can we show some love to the big cat? Where we at, 21 and 17? Only one 3-point shot attempt last night. A monster in the paint. The Knicks are doing what they supposed to do. They're getting dirty and getting it in the trenches while the Celtics are looking soft and looking cute. That's it. That's what it is.
Listen, Josh Hart last night goes 3 of 6 from the 3-point line. Derek White, 3-point shooter, shot 265 threes this year for the Celtics, 3 of 11. And so to Wendy's point in terms of why you're confused, I get it. I get it. Because the Knicks are doing everything that you would scout and want them to do, except it's backfiring on the Celtics. But that is one of the things, Greeny, that you just can't quantify statistically, the way that this group is playing together and the confidence they have.
There is another thing that is going on here that I think is, it comes through the television. And so Monica and Wendy, you guys being in the building, I'm sure you feel it. When there were reasons why Phil Jackson, when he was coaching the Bulls, used to always say he greatly preferred playing on the road. And I think you're feeling it, the energy in the building. When the game started yesterday, every 3 the Celtics missed, you could hear the crowd groaning. And then in the fourth quarter, you could feel through the again, I'm sitting in my house. I can feel it on the television window. You're in the building. The Celtic fans can feel it happening again, and that energy has to trickle down on some level to the players one way or another.
When it got to be a 20-point lead, all of these fans are aware that all of these top seeds are blowing 20-point leads. The jokes, you could hear them in the stands. You could hear them on press row. Oh my gosh, that the higher seeds got a 20-point lead at home. It's curtains. You just give the game to the Knicks. But it was nervous laughter. And again, as they were getting walked down, I felt the Celtics got tighter. Typically, the home team thrives having a lead. Typically, the team that falls way down on the road sort of fades. Nothing conventionally is happening in this series.
14 minutes, or the lead was 14. I think it was about 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. My terrific radio partner, Tyler Murray, he says it on our call. You can feel the anxiousness in this building, and it unfolded in exactly that. And I think to answer the question on how they're coming back, when they're closing the gap on these runs, Greeny, there's just a relentlessness that either you got or you don't. Josh Hart ripping rebounds, going coast to coast, like Mikal Bridges finding his way in the middle range.
They look like a team that had more energy, and that's funny because they're the team that played all these minutes, and everybody said it's going to wear them down. They look like they built themselves up for this point of the season, and Boston Celtics looked like they had tired legs.
Yes, and perhaps that is the reason for what we'll finish this part of the conversation by saying. The reality is the Celtics are missing makeable shots in the fourth quarter. They just are. Whether that's because they're tight, whether that's because they're tired, it doesn't make any difference what the reason is. It's happening, and so the Knicks have dominated those 2 quarters and taken a 2-0 lead home. We haven't even gotten to the other game yesterday. By the way, it was an absolute blowout. We'll show you the highlights as we go. Plus, we'll tell you why, all things considered, yesterday was a good day for the Warriors, despite the news on stage.